Hi everybody, welcome to Module 8. This week we'll explore how children's psychological development and emotional needs shape their experiences in art classrooms. Why psychology matters in the art room. Art in itself is both expressive and developmental. Students bring their histories, their strengths, and all of their challenges, as well as having a classroom that is safe. It simply allows for creativity and risk-taking and growth. So understanding child psychology is essential for teaching art. Every child brings their own background into the classroom. Art in itself can be a really powerful tool, but only if children feel safe and supported. So the brain compatible teaching, the brain article. So in this article, we are talking about how we can build safe environments for risk-taking, how we can use novelty and emotional hooks, how honoring diverse learning styles and multiple intelligences can help the classroom, and we can provide reflection time and feedback. So the brain research shows us that learning thrives in environments that are safe, engaging, and emotionally connected. So when we're dealing with students with autism, we can soon realize that there is some differentiation that is needed. One of them being that children on the autism spectrum, they benefit from clear structure and predictable routines, and that having visual supports can really reduce anxiety. So in my classrooms, in the last week, we really kind of talked about how we wanted to have diversity and kind of have exploratory classrooms. But my experience when working with students with autism, that was kind of the opposite. They actually needed a tremendous amount of structure. So finding places where they can have structure, thinking about some of the sensory supports that you can do, incorporating visual schedules can really help them, and having balance in art education for all of their therapeutic strategies can really benefit them in the long run. Students with emotional behavior disorders often have a history of wrong experiences, and their teacher's attitude is really key in helping for them to break through some of the barriers that they do encounter. So a children's attitude, like for instance, remaining calm, setting clear boundaries, and celebrating small successes is really, really going to be helpful. So we want to make sure that we understand that in our classroom, you want to expect resistance and outbursts and really don't take it personally. You want to build a place of trust where there's patience and there's consistency. You want to use art as a socially appropriate outlet, and you want to avoid failures. So build success through cooperation. So think about team building, think about partnership. In the Trauma-Informed Practice by Wolf 2017, adverse childhood experiences shape the way students respond in class. We all know that those really not great moments in our lives that really did shape us, good and bad against the world. So trauma-informed art education emphasizes safety, empowerment, and helps to build relationships. So with that, we want to really think about how trauma impacts attention, how art in itself can always be an outlet, as many of us know. We want to focus on empowerment choices, and teachers really have to make sure that we really maintain boundaries. That was something that was always very, very important for me, and I hope for all of you guys, is understanding that you're not their friends. It's important to build boundaries, but also kind of that guide in them to help the leadership. In our video insights, when we're looking at the videos really complement the readings by bringing lived experiences and professional perspectives. So how childhood trauma affects health across a lifetime, the TED Talk, that was really a great one. Supporting children in autism, emotional and behavioral disorders, and the brain and learning, how safety and connection can really help build. So hopefully you enjoyed those videos and you really saw that they were supportive to the actual articles that you read this week. So connecting across readings. When we connect across readings in the videos, we see that there's really common themes over and over and over and over and over and over again. Safety. Children need to feel that they're safe. They need to basically trust you. They're going to be in a vulnerable space in your classroom. You need to have structure. So thinking for yourself, like a simple warm up every day, a simple pattern of after warm up, then we go ahead and return homework, then going over the daily agenda, then going over the lesson, and then allowing for the practice time. And then from there, I always had a cleanup song. It was really, really helpful. Instead of me having to shout out, clean up, that I simply played a song, and they knew, because we have such great auditory signals and memories in our system, that they knew that the amount of time they had to go ahead and clean up. And applying in your own practice. So as future educators, I want you to really think about all these ideas and how they apply in your own practice. You're going to see that you're going to have a gamut of different children in your classroom. And you're going to really experience a lot of the things that we learned about in this module. So I want you to think how you yourself can build safety and trust in the classroom, how strategies can be used to prevent failures and increase success, and how you can balance being supportive while respecting the boundaries between art education and therapy. And one last thing I'll give you in closing, that in our closing statements, we really want to remember that the art room can be a safe haven for many students. You might be that teacher that everybody comes to. You might be that teacher that has that kid that nobody wanted. No, he or she was really a burden, and you brought him in and you made him a manager. You'll realize in your practice that a lot of the kids, who sometimes are troublesome, they'll really be great managers in your classroom, and giving them a leadership kind of really transforms them. It's having somebody see them in a different light. So with that, with trauma-based informed strategies, brain-based teaching, and respect for boundaries can really support student psychological development. And with that, really think about care. One of the most greatest things that you'll realize in the classroom is that you don't have to be the pirate in the room, like "arr" all the time. Sometimes, but wouldn't it be nice to not always have to be the pirate? "Arr," and I use that example because really one of the greatest professional developments that I ever took was with Rick Morris, and he really did teach me a lot of really practical things, and he used that. And one of the practical things he did was colors for me. He said numbers. He gave me like morning songs, and he also gave me end songs, so that closing song. And not from Rick Morris, but a schism from that would be really realizing that children and all students need to feel that you care. If they don't feel that you care about the things that you do, that you care about them in the most appropriate boundaries, then they're not going to want to care in the bigger scheme of things. So anyway, I hope you really enjoyed this module. This one was a really important one. You really are going to see this much in your practice. And, it's going to just take time to have you build and build. And teaching in itself is a craft that gets better over time. So anyway, have a good one, everybody. Thanks so much.